Okay, we'll get started in a moment. Okay, we'll get started in a moment. Okay. Let's get this party started here. Getting everything set up here. Hope everybody's having a great night and you are doing well. Okay. Very cool, very cool. Okay, good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're having a great Thursday night and everything's going well. Welcome to Sketching After Hours. This is our time to hang out and sketch and sort of have that sort of drawing club together and have some fun. Just quickly looking at the chat, waiting for everybody to jump on. I got Long. Hey, Long, how's it going? Long is known as Useless Guy. So he says, hi, Paul. Hi, Long. How you doing? Hope everything's going well for you. Hope your artwork's come together for you, my friend. And things are looking good for you. So hope everything is going all right. Okay. So tonight is a fun, we're going to have a little bit of a chat, a little fireside chat. We're going to be talking about sketchbooking and how to put together a sketchbook routine. And I'm going to be drawing along while we're talking about the sketchbook routine and just coming up with some fun ideas to get you going in your sketchbooks if you're new to sketchbooking, and sort of give you some of my tips and how-tos of how to, not necessarily how to use your sketchbook, but what gets in, how do you get that inspiration? We all get into that sort of rut, like, oh man, I got to draw something. But I put a lot of, for myself, I put a lot of practice into drawing and sketching and practicing. And I'm really big on this putting in the pencil miles, You're like working out and putting in the pencil miles, or you're a bodybuilder and you're putting in the reps, the pencil reps. The more reps you put in, the more practice you put in, the better your artwork will become. And the better you practice and master the fundamentals, you will get better. But to kick things off, if we have not met yet, my name is Paul Angeli. I am a live action storyboard artist, and I created this channel. Right now, this is it. This is 5 months as of today that I started this YouTube channel, and wanted to create a channel for storyboard artists out there. I wanted to share my processes and journey with you, as well as help create a channel to be a resource for other artists, visual storytellers, filmmakers, and other storyboard artists. So if you are a creative individual that's really interested in getting into the craft of storyboarding, whether it be storyboarding for film, television, animation, these streaming services, video games, music videos or commercials, or just YouTube videos, you've come to the right place. If you're somebody that is trying to elevate your skill level and level up and get better at the craft that you're doing, this also is the channel for you. Or if you're somebody who's just interested in watching a storyboard artist work and how does that movie magic happen, this is also the channel for you. So consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. We've grown this channel in the last 5 months. We're just wee shy of 1,000 subscribers, which is absolutely fantastic, and I'm so thankful for each of you that are supporting the channel to help this channel grow and reach other artists and visual storytellers out there. If this is the first time in the chat or your first time joining the live stream, do me a favor, drop your name into the chat here. I'd love to see who we're talking with today. We've got quite a few people watching and hanging out with us today. Like I said, I got my buddy Long. Long hasn't missed one for a while, and I appreciate you joining in the live chat, Long. So thank you so much. I hope you've been getting a lot out of the lessons, and I'll put a question out there to you, Long. What's your favorite live stream we've done so far? Which one did you enjoy and learn the most from? Just curious. So anyway, with these live streams too, I've been having a good time. This is number, let me see what number this one is, 62. So 62 live streams since we started 5 months ago. It's gone by so quick. I just can't believe how time flies. I'm having a lot of fun with these live streams, and I'm happy to share my knowledge and processes with you and those experiences to help you get on the right track of where you'd like to go, whether you're going live action, you're going animation, or which direction you may be heading. So I got Lauren just jumping in, known as Buddha Belly. Nice to see you jumping in, Lauren. Hope everything is going well for you. Thanks for hanging out. I don't know if anybody caught, I did a live stream earlier today. I was sort of having fun with it. I was testing some things out that I've never done before here on YouTube, and one of them is, I guess, a mobile live stream. I also did a short little live stream on Instagram as well. I try to keep it short, but I was busy just sharing some of the imagery I was drawing, earlier today, so you can sort of get an idea. Bring it in there a little bit closer. See if I can see it there. There we go. A little bit closer of some of the storyboard work I was just practicing. These are just some sketches that I was playing around with. So today's lesson in our Sketching After Hours session is going to be based on sketchbooks and sketchbooking. And I think it's super important to have a sketchbook routine to practice your craft. But before I get ahead of myself, let's talk about the programming that I bring to you each and every week. I come to you 3 times a week on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And the rundown looks like this real quick. So for those that are interested, on Tuesdays, I have my Storyboarding Mastering the Basics series. With the Storyboarding Mastering the Basics series, it is your fundamental tutorial how-to day. We've done so many different videos, and from anything from, composition, shot composition, to different types of shots, to camera movements. We've done, I had a shooting script that we developed, all the way from a shooting script to shot lists, to thumbnails, to roughs, to final boards through that chat stream. We have a lot more great content, but that's Tuesdays is our Storyboarding Mastering the Basics series. Then days like today, which is Thursday, we have our Sketching After Hours sessions. And I sort of think of it like a happy hour. We got done with work, we're here a little bit later at night, and it's our time to sort of jam, hang out, chit-chat about art, talk about different drawing techniques. I know I've done a bunch of lectures and lessons on, gesture drawing, facial gestures, full body gestures. We've done all different. We've drawn dinosaurs, we've drawn creatures, we've drawn aliens, we've drawn all sorts of different topics, and sort of have fun. And I think it's so important. That's what I'm going to be talking about tonight, is about using your sketchbook and having a drawing routine, or a practice drawing routine. And then, of course, on Saturdays is a fun session. Excuse me, is our storyboarding jam sessions. And on the jam sessions are a lot of fun. I just pick out a topic, and we sort of go have fun with it. So if you think about it, the way I have the lesson structured is, we have our teaching on Tuesdays, Thursdays we sort of practice and hone in our skills, and then Saturdays we bring it all together and have some fun doing some thumbnails, some rough storyboards, an animatic or something, whatever I feel like doing and having fun with that. So those are fun sessions to get along. So if this is something up your alley and you'd like to learn more about storyboarding, please subscribe to the channel. And if you enjoyed today's lesson and what we're talking about, please drop a like and a quick little comment. It tells the YouTube algorithm, hey, we want to see more work what Polly's working on, and we'd like to see more. With your support, we could reach more artists out there and other visual storytellers and filmmakers. Regardless, I'm going to go back over here to the chat. Useless guy, I asked a question earlier of what his favorite videos were. He just said perspective, figures matching the background. Cool. Okay. So that's some cool stuff there that Long is working on and interested in. Very cool. Very cool. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about sketchbooking. Okay. I did have a video that we talked about sketchbooking and sort of having the importance of it and how to use a sketchbook for a variety of different reasons. What I'm going to be talking about tonight is a little bit different. We're going to talk about a routine. I'm big on routines. I'm a pretty busy person, and probably you are at home too. But we all run into that time crunch. It's like, when am I going to have time to sketch? And I usually see it a lot on Instagram. When things are slow, people tend to post more, and when things get busy, they don't post as much on Instagram and other platforms in terms of their artwork and things like that. One of the things I try to challenge myself is to have a routine, in terms of being organized and having a routine of when you study, when you sketch, when you have your own private time at home to do your keep the household going, or your time with the kids. And listen, we have really, really busy lives, and you're working on a job, and you're trying to get the next job as a storyboard artist, or you're working a 9-to-5 job, or you're going to school full time and you're working part time on the side. Hey, listen, I got it. It is difficult to manage everything and to keep balance. And but I think it's wonderful to have a routine, and building those basic simple habits that you can build in to foster that routine each and every day. And whenever you can get into your sketchbook, you can get into it, and you have to sort of design your routine or your program that works for you and that fits your lifestyle, fits what your goal is. Like myself, and I know a lot of other professionals out there, we're always working all the time. And then you sit there and go, well, I worked all day sketching and drawing storyboards all day and working with a director or working with a client. I really don't feel like drawing for myself. I think that's the time, just honestly, where I try to push the hardest. You push hard at work, you try to create value, you try to create solutions for your director or client, you hit your deadlines. I would assume most people, the last thing they want to do is draw. But I think it's the most important thing to do, because you need to keep honing in your skills, keep learning. I was having a conversation with another pro out there, and we were always talking about all the work we put into storyboarding. You sort of get to see the final image, that final super cool image that was based on something like this, and it's all dolled up, it's beautiful, and you're like, wow, that's amazing. But all these sketches, all these pages and pages of artwork and drawings and different things that you are putting together, it's like, where does all that go? Where does all that thinking go? And I try to capture it. Either I have so many folders of loose papers to my sketchbooks. I think it's super important to catalog all that stuff and put it into your sketchbook. So that's sort of the topic of today. We're going to be drawing a little bit, but I want to talk more about my routine, and so hopefully you can develop your own routine in terms of what you're doing. So I just had Maria jump into the chat. Hey Maria, how's it going? She says hi Paul, hi chat, and then Lauren said, "Hi, Maria. Good to see you." You know, cool. So got a great group of people that have been showing up to these live streams. Really appreciate you taking the time. Again, if this is your first time into the live stream, don't be shy. Jump in, type in your name into the chat, say a hello. We've got a lot of great people that have been with me since the beginning of the YouTube channel, and I really appreciate everybody hanging out. And I know people usually drop in at certain parts of the time of the night. I sort of have this time scheduled to be my quiet time so I can hang out with you good friends and try to give you some value and help you out and mentor this way in terms of what I'm doing. So I'm hoping you're getting some great value out of these lessons. Please shout it out in the chat if you've been enjoying the channel and if you've been enjoying the lessons so far. Like I said, we're right there. Let me take a quick peek and see where we're at with subscribers here. We're at 933. That's just, I am so blown away. That is crazy, you know, just absolutely crazy. In 5 months, so many people wanting to learn more. It just blows me away. And I thank you. I'm just humbled, and thank you all for hanging out and being with me on this YouTube journey. And it means a lot to me, and I hope you're getting some great value for yourself. Okay, so let's talk about sketchbook and sketchbook routines. Okay, first thing I think is important. I tend to draw a lot on copy paper, and if I bust out, you know, just different drawings I have laying around, I love copy paper. I love just typical. This is a Pilot G2 pen. It's just a simple pen. It's not some fancy India ink pen. Sharpies, you know, highlighters to other thick Sharpies, thin Sharpies. There's drawing tools. I love drawing like that when I'm just sketching out ideas and those type of things. I think it's, I try to share these with you folks because these are tools that cheap, easily you can get. Just because you have you know, I have a Cintiq or a few Cintiqs here, and you have all this computer stuff and cool software and stuff, we still need to be able to tell a story. And if we can tell a story on a piece of paper, you can do great with any other tool. It's just tools. And for a lot of folks, maybe where you're from, you don't have access to everything that you need, but if you can get access to paper, a sketchbook, and some drawing tools, you'll be rocking and rolling. So I think one of the interesting things, I think, for having a sketchbook routine, I would say the first requirement is have a sketchbook. And I tend to sketchbook a lot, and I love sketchbooks, and I don't care if it's something that fits in your pocket, you know, or if it's something, I tend to like these. These are at 8.5 by 11 Canson, I think it was Cranson. I forgot the name. Yeah, Canson sketchbooks. These are my sort of favorite go-tos. They're hardbound. I've been drawing for many years, and so I have like a whole catalog of these black books, and in these black books I have so many different drawings and things I've worked on over the years. I'm just trying to, I always like running into them and sort of seeing what I drew and stuff in these books. Here's one thing. I think I was just in this book, I was just practicing drawing noses and stuff like that back in the day with this book. Let me see what else I have in here. I think it's always fun to share these books here, you know, just different styles of drawings, of cartooning, those type of things. Let me see here. Just trying different things, you know, U.S. presidents to whatever it might be. I think it's just sort of fun to do these types of drawings. Here's some other drawings. Just having fun with it. I think sketchbooking, there's so much you can learn about your drawings and things like that, just different stuff, you know. And I think having these books help you out quite a bit, you know, in terms of your sketching and your habits. So let's go into Photoshop. Let me write some things down, some notes for you to give you some ideas of how do you build that routine into the sketchbook. So let me go to Little Polly. Boom. And let's blow that up a little bit. Type some notes in here. So we're talking about a sketchbook routine. Okay. I think the first thing you need to do, get a sketchbook. And I would say when you're looking for a sketchbook, get a sketchbook that fits your needs. Okay? So it can be small. It could be like 8.5 by 11 inches. It could be big. And you can do whatever fits your boat. Do you want it in brown paper, white paper, thicker paper? It doesn't matter. Whatever you feel comfortable in, you know? And it's okay. To use copy paper. It's okay to use copy paper too. I tend to use copy paper all the time, and I sort of get away from myself and I go back and forth between the sketchbook and the copy paper sometimes, or I'll take the drawings I'm doing on copy paper and then just copy them over into my sketchbook if I had an epiphany idea or whatever it might be. But I think one of the things what I like about having a sketchbook, no matter what the sketchbook is, I've had so many different ones. Gosh, let's see if I'm seeing stuff here. I did have one there. Yeah, I've had sketchbooks from back in the day. Holy smoke, huh? I don't even know if I ever wrote any of the... This is from, for goodness sakes, high school. Holy smoke. That's an old book. Holy smoke. That is crazy. That is so old. I guess I was into certain things there. What is it? 1987. That's crazy. You sit there and look at these books and you go, wow. And I think what is interesting about this is that you sit there and use Sketchbook. This is a sketchbook I had back, gosh, this is so old. 1987. Holy smoke. I remember having an art class in high school, and this book is so old now, it's getting shaky there, but this is a super old book. I have some even older ones than that I always sketched in, but I think the point that I'm trying to make is using a sketchbook. It sort of has your history in it, your history of your talent, of your drawing abilities, and those type of things. And I think having that sketchbook, it sort of collects your images, your thoughts. And shows your progress. Development. As an artist. So super important. I think it's super cool. And I think it shows your history. It shows your how did you get here? How did you get to doing what you're doing? You know. So I guess a great point of having a sketchbook. First of all, it collects your imagery, your thoughts, and shows your progress and development as an artist. And it's great to go look back. It helps to inspire. It helps to inspire you, because one of the things I'll go do, and if you're having a bad art day or whatever it might be, you can go back and look at the work and show yourself how far have you come, you know. And I sometimes I amaze myself going, wow, I used to draw like that, holy smoke. And I'm sitting there going, you know, looking back at something that I drew, whether it be this little ink drawing of a forest back in the early 80s, you know, and you're like, oh my goodness gracious, you know, and now you're a storyboard artist, you know, and you're doing all sorts of cool stuff. I guess I drew some sort of hawk or something like that. And these are back in the day. I was just a kid, you know, and I think it's, yeah, you're sitting there, you know, doing your practice drawings, drawing trees and all sorts of stuff, and then you go and you look at not necessarily a book. These aren't even recent, and you go back and you look at some of this work going, holy smoke. Let me see here. Some goodies here. So this is even 2017. Holy smoke. You know, and you sit there and you're drawing and you're like, wow, how far have I come? And this was already a long time ago. Like I said, this is 2017. Holy smoke. You know, whichever way I'm drawing, you know, it's like, wow, this is even old. And you keep drawing, so you see that sort of history in terms of what you're doing, and then you're sort of doing your drawings today, and you're going, wow, what a development in terms of your drawing skills. You know, you started off drawing trees and things like that, and you've come so far. So again, you know, we were talking about having a sketchbook, have a book that fits your needs, whatever. Maybe you're somebody likes to put your likes to work really small. You're somebody likes to work big. Maybe you mix it in with your book bag, or your purse, or your backpack, or your briefcase, or whatever you're at work. And so it doesn't really matter, draw. And what's great about the bound book version of your sketchbook, it collects all your imagery and your thoughts and shows your progress and development as an artist. Also, I write down a lot of ideas and sketches that way too, to have some fun with it. So let's talk about the routine. We've talked about the sketchbook. It really doesn't matter what the sketchbook is. It really doesn't matter what drawing implement, what drawing tool you need. I was already saying I usually use a combination between sort of a regular pen and a Sharpie marker. I'm not using any type of brush. I love brush pens. I love certain pens, but I'm not even worried about the tool itself. The tool is just the tool. You still have to be able to draw, whether you're using a stylus or a pen. It doesn't really matter. You got to be able to do those things. And so let's talk about what makes a good drawing routine for you. So let's talk about that more. So I think everything has to do with habits. Okay, how important is your craft to you? And we could be at all different levels, so there's no wrong reason or wrong or right reason to have a routine. Okay, so the first thing is to have a sketchbook. Second thing is to have a habit, good habits. Okay, and what I mean by good habits is you just pretty much want to have, I always think about Bill Murray and What About Bob? And always taking I guess the joke in the movie was take baby steps. And you have to take your baby steps for good habits. So take baby steps. And what I mean by that is take small habits. Create small habits. And what I mean by a small habit is maybe you don't have the time. Your life is busy. Maybe you just have time to draw once a week. Well, at least draw once a week and build that habit. Professionals, I've seen some fantastic artists out there that just they pump out so much work, and it's just amazing to see the amount of content coming out of some people. And it's like, how do you do it? How do you keep going? How do other people are getting frustrated, but I think take those baby steps. Do what's right for you and what your commitment is to yourself and where you're trying to go. Now, if you're trying to become an artist, whether you're a comic artist, remember, a comic artist is drawing a comic book once a month and getting that book published, or you're on some of these sites where you're publishing the vertical format of your comic. You're drawing all the time, storyboarding. I draw all the time. If you're an illustrator, you're drawing all the time, but you're focusing on certain pieces to develop those pieces even deeper in terms of what you're doing. So it depends on what you're trying to get into, but take those baby steps. Don't kill yourself over it. Do something like they say with a SMART goal, in terms of what you're doing. Specific, measurable, attainable, and realistic, timely goal. What are those simple things that you can do and have that time, in terms of what you're doing. So Maria just stated right here, since I started drawing and sketching on Clip Studio Paint, I find it much harder to reference quick sketches or past work. Yeah, I think it gets I have the same thing here too. I draw a lot of digital work, and everything goes into files for my PSD files for Photoshop or whatever tool I'm using. I try to export out the JPEGs so I can sort of keep the JPEGs. So if I'm going through my folders, I have all the JPEGs associated with the pieces within that folder, and then of course I have all my storyboard shots and things like that. So I think I agree with you, Maria. You do lose a little bit if you are using a piece of software and the software sort of holds your artwork in terms of what you're doing, but there are ways to structure yourself. I would say export those JPEGs for yourself out of your drawing tool, so as you're looking at it on your computer, you can flip through all the pieces of artwork to see where you have gone. It's a little bit more organization on the digital side, but it can still work too if you're using Clip Studio Paint or another piece of software to create your images, or you can simply just print them out and have them collected that way too. So a couple different ways, but good habits start with baby steps. It starts with creating a small habit, and with that small habit, you can create bigger habits. From there, you can create bigger habits. And so as we're talking about good habits, taking those baby steps, but they have to be realistic habits, something that you can accomplish. Don't overshoot. Pick out something. Maybe for a small habit, maybe just one exit. Sketch once a week. Okay, if you if you commit to that, and then go ahead and sketch twice a week. And if you can do that, sketch 3 times a week. But in the minimum to get started, sketch once a week. Have a session. Small habits are key. You can always build up from that one time a week that you sketch. Just a little bit about myself. I sketch every single day. It has nothing to do with work. Has nothing to do with storyboarding. Sometimes, maybe the sketching I'm doing has something to do with storyboarding, but it's not for a client. It's not for a director. It's just for Paul. And I use my sketching sessions to explore, to try new things. There might be a new artist that I'm wowed by, and I'm like, well, cool. How does that person draw? How can I put those fundamentals into my work? What can I learn from that? How can I become better at my craft? And it might be something as simple as tone. Using tones in my images. One thing I'm working on right now is, it has nothing to do with sketching, but I'm working in Blender right now. And I'm excited to be working in Blender and use grease pencil and some of these other fantastic tools to enhance my boarding skills in terms of what I'm doing. So those are some habits that I've built in. I draw every single week. Rain or shine, there's no day off. I draw every single week and every single day throughout that week. I bring my sketchbook on vacation, even if we're traveling from the East Coast out to the West Coast to visit family, or I'm out on the West Coast, or if I'm on a business trip or whatever. I remember my last trip I just took to Las Vegas, and of course I brought my sketchbook with me, and I'm drawing all the time. So, and I think it's important to have that with you. And if I'm in an airport or wherever I'm at, I'm drawing. I love to practice. I love to hone in my skills, and that's where sort of my drawing routine is. But I'm not saying do what I'm doing. I'm just saying do what you need to do for you. Because if you have a routine and a small habit built up of drawing once a week, you're gonna be better. If you're trying to go a little bit quicker, then add a few more times through the week. Maybe you 2x or 3x or 4x the times that you're drawing throughout the week. The more practice you're putting in, what's going to happen? The better you're going to get, in terms of what you're drawing, how you're drawing. So, and so like I was saying, so the more practice you put in, the better you will become. I think it's having that practice session to go in. And I think it's super important. A couple other things. So, like I was just saying, you go in and you're 1xing and you develop up. Can you 7x it? Or maybe you're just 1x to maybe 3x, 3 times a week that you can draw. So 3 times a week. Okay, so what other things, you're sitting there going, Polly, what other things can I be doing to have my routine, is there a special place? Is there a special place that you like to draw? Some people like to sit on their bed and draw. Other people like to sit down and work on a desk. I tend to be more of the sit down and working at a desk type of person. I love big spaces. I need to have a big, clean, open space as I'm drawing because I want to be able to get the gesture and some big strokes sometimes into my drawing, and it needs to be big. My wife is always kicking me off the kitchen table because I love just having everything spread out on the kitchen table, and I'm just drawing. And sometimes I get kicked off the kitchen table and go to the dining room table and just drawing big and all my stuff everywhere. And then I get shooed back up into my studio office and work over here. Sometimes I work on my desk. Sometimes I work on my art table. I work in a variety of different ways, but I like to sit down. Sometimes I draw standing up just when I'm taking, I've done that quite a bit too. When I'm drawing, I'll just be sitting there drawing, standing up, and I'll be drawing on the countertop or whatever and just draw that way. But find that special spot. Maybe there's a special place you like to draw and it helps to give you your zen. Maybe, it's a special place in the house or your apartment. Maybe you like drawing in your car. I don't know. But find that special place in terms of where you like to draw and what helps you to feel inspired to draw. I think having, besides good habits and having a sketchbook, it's it's having that special place to draw. Another thing I think is important is to, this goes back to what I was showing you earlier. I think it's important to date your drawings. Oop, if I can spell right. So for example, if I was doing my drawing, I was just doing a, say this is my drawing. I think it's date your drawing. So put in there 2/29/24, and I think it makes it important to do that. So when you go back to look at those drawings, you can sort of see when you drew it and how long did it take to get better at what you're doing, you know. And I think dating your drawings helps to keep you motivated too. You're like, wow, I just did that. I have a lot of folks sharing their artwork with me, and I hope those folks are, you know, dating their drawings and stuff like that. So I think it's super important. So in that sketchbook, you know, date that drawing. I think that's super cool, you know, in terms of what you're doing. I think that helps to motivate you. I think it helps to catalog where you're doing and how many pages you got done. Maybe you're testing yourself. I know I did a drawing exercise over a summer, and the goal of the drawing exercise was a summer sketchbook, fill up an entire, I guess it was a 300-page sketchbook, front and back of every side of the sketchbook. And so each of us divided up that 300-page sketchbook into how many drawings we could execute per day and per week, and how many pages we owed, and we just put in the pencil mileage, you know, in terms of you know, doing that. So that's helped to keep you a little bit accountable, but you know, with the page counts that you were owing every single week. But I think when you date it, it shows you how much work did I do. Did I have a long time just to sketch and study, or did I just have enough day to do a half page or something like that? So date those things. I think it's good because I sort of use my sketchbook as like a journal, in a sense. If I'm writing script ideas, or, you know, things I see or something I want to do, I'll parking lot it, and I'll put a parking lot note in my sketchbook so when I'm reflipping back through my work and I saw what I accomplished over the week, I'm sitting there going, okay, cool, that was a good idea. Let me go work on that idea. So dating those pieces are helpful too, in terms of what you're doing there. Yazalai just joined in. Hey, Yazalai, how's it going? Some great artwork just to chat with everybody. Yazalai sent me her very first storyboards that she created. That was great to see, and I'm looking forward to, I got an initial peek, but I'm going through to give some feedback to Yazalai on the first set of storyboards. So fantastic job. From what I saw, taking a quick glance at your work, Yazalai has a very anime manga style. It was very cool to see. So I appreciate you sending that over to me. I look forward to, I know I'm off on this weekend, but when I get a chance, a free chance, Yazalai, I'll give you some feedback on the work that you sent over to me. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. Very cool. So, cool. Let's keep going. So date your drawings with that. So you know, we talked about having a special place to draw, you know, and to get yourself inspired for what you're doing. I think another. Let me write it down over here. Let's go number 4. I think what helps you to have a drawing routine is give yourself a time limit. Okay, give yourself a time limit. I think having a time limit, it helps, because this is supposed to be fun. You're studying, you're learning, it's not a bunch of work. So, but I think it's fun to give yourself a target time range. So if you're somebody that doesn't have a lot of time and you're going to commit to drawing, your commitment is one drawing, or drawing in your sketchbook once a week, and then the next thing, I'm going to give 30 minutes. So I'm looking at 1x at 30 minutes. Okay, and that's your commitment. Okay, and you can check that off when you're done. But you want to do, if somebody wants to keep it simple, I just want to do 1x at 30 minutes a week, and that's sort of my drawing routine to give yourself. So use that 30 minutes as your time limit in terms of what you're doing. Keeps it very loose for you. It gives you a timeline. Can you afford 30 minutes out of your week? I definitely think you can afford 30 minutes, in terms of what you're doing. So, I think it's super important to be able to do that. Talking about that 30 minutes, 1x a week, I forgot what number I was on. That's 4. Okay. So as we're going on to number 5 here, as you're doing it, if you're committing to that 1x, 30 minutes a week, I think you need to prioritize. So where can you grab that 30 minutes? You know, um, can you get off the internet? Stop binge watching. Stop binge watching a show. Etc. So make the time. Make the time to sketch. We got busy lives. I got it. And you need some sort of R&R downtime. But if this is important enough to you and you want to excel as a storyboard artist or an artist just a professional artist in general, you sort of got to prioritize your extracurricular activities. You want to prioritize your pastimes to cut out that 30 minutes. So if we're just doing that, like I said, 1x at 30 minutes, that's your minimum of what you're trying to do. You should be able to cut out 30 minutes out of your entire week, and be successful at what you're doing. So these are all things that make up a good routine in terms of what you're doing. So if it's important to you, you'll get it done. And so we've talked about having a special place, giving yourself a time limit, making you're making this a small habit into a bigger habit. We want to make this in a routine that is part of your routine. I tend to, I like to sketch either late at night or early in the morning, just as I'm thinking or I'm just relaxing, and I'll sketch those things. It's amazing where you'll go. So what are some other things you can do to inspire yourself to keep sketching in that sketchbook? Let's just say you got everything. You got the routine, you got the sketchbook, you got your pens, you're working digitally or whichever way you're working. Well, what are you going to draw? And I think there's a lot of different things that you can do to draw. And what are some of those things? One thing you can do is take photos. So if you've got a busy day, you're at work, for some crazy reason, I sometimes take photos at stoplights, and if I'm going to work and I see a great sunrise picture or see something interesting and I'm sitting there waiting at a stop sign or I'm waiting somewhere, or sometimes I'll just pull off to the side of the road and I see some cool thing in the cornfields or something like that, or cool, I'll take a photo and I'll use that photo as reference when I'm spending my time sketching that day. So take a photo, save for your sketch later. So there might be a photo that you have of something you're like, oh, that's a cool photo. And maybe it was, you know, whatever it might be. And maybe you just have something going on there, and whatever you might have seen. Out there, and you're just like, I'm going to draw that photo. I thought that was really cool, and I need to draw from that photo. Or you created that photo and you're like, oh, hey, listen, I got some really great ideas based on that photo, and maybe do you know, some sort of idea that comes out of that photo. You know, whatever it might be. So have some fun with it, and enjoy. Use those photos as reference. So have that cell phone and take those photos of whatever you're doing. So another thing you can do too, and you're sitting there going, Paul, I need to get started on my drawing. I need to get some sort of inspiration or whatever. Start with a line. Start with a line. And it doesn't matter. If you can just draw some crazy shape, maybe something will come out of that. You know, just draw a line. Whatever it might be. Just start with those lines. Whatever it might go, just draw with those lines. So draw with those lines. Everything starts with a line. Draw with those lines. Get that going. Have some fun with it. Draw with those lines. you're sitting there going, okay, cool, I started with the line. What else can help get me engaged in terms of having a sketchbook routine and sketching? Go somewhere. Or travel and sketch. You know, one of those places might just be the coffee shop. You know, bring your sketchbook over and go over to the coffee shop and go get yourself a latte or a mocha or a hot cup of tea or something like that, and have your sketchbook out and just start drawing the patrons, start drawing the barista, you know, whatever it might be, interesting people, and just sit there and sketch in your drawings, you know, and sketch in your sketchbook. Have some fun with that. And or another place, I have a good friend, he liked going to the zoo. You know, you might just like to do plein air drawings or paintings. Maybe just go outside and draw nature. But go somewhere. Maybe you like to travel, and you're in Europe, you know, or you're in Italy, drawing the gondola, you know, the gondolas, or you're in at mimicking, you know, a painting. You're in Venice or Florence, and you're traveling, and you have your little travel sketchbook, you know, and you do those things. But go somewhere. That's what helps to keep you engaged, and you got to be able to do that 1x at 30 minutes if you're traveling and seeing interesting things. But you know, there's so many different things you can sit there, and you're sitting there watching, you know, somebody with their coffee. You know, in terms of what you're doing, you're drawing those people at the coffee shop or whatever it might be. And they're making the coffee at the coffee shop. And just have fun drawing those different things. You might, or you're sitting there at the zoo or whatever, and you have an interesting, you know, animal that you're looking at. And maybe you're just drawing whatever it might be. Maybe you're drawing, practicing. Maybe you're drawing a monitor or something like a Savannah monitor or something. And you're at the zoo or whatever type of thing, you know, and you're just having fun with that. but draw. Use those places to get going. So then you're asking, what else, Paul? What else can I do? I think another thing to get excited about and to get inspired about is having drawing prompts. So there's a lot of drawing prompts out there. It would be something like Inktober that Jake Parker created, or it's something like I think Tony Bancroft, was it Mermaid? You know, there's so many different things. That Bobby Chu, I think, had something going on too. There's all different types of. Oops, let me turn that back off. There are all different types of drawing prompts that you can get into. I don't know if I had this this image up earlier at the big Paul up, but go somewhere or travel or sketch, like I said, coffee shop, the zoo, be outside and draw nature while you're traveling, draw the patrons, you know, like I said, over here at the Starbucks, going to the zoo, draw a monitor lizard, whatever it might be. You know, we were talking about drawing prompts, having some fun with drawing prompts. You know, there'd be something like Inktober, Mermaid. Another thing you can do are some of these. Enter a drawing competition. I know there's a lot for designer character design competitions. You know, I think those are all different ways to draw. Another way for you to draw too is pull a group of friends together. Pull a group of friends together and go off and go do a journey. And you know, go and draw together. Have that you know, that drawing session. There's a lot of people that that do that and have little drawing sessions, and they meet up and get together and draw together and have some fun in terms of their drawing habits. So one of the questions I have, I'm going to put it to the chat real quick while we're talking about drawing routines and getting these things done, is I'm going to put in a question. What is your drawing routine? Feel free, share it in the chat. I'd love to hear what you're currently doing right now for your drawing routine. Be really curious. Do you have a drawing routine, or have you been drawing already? Are you scheduled throughout the week? How many times a week are you drawing? This is to be interactive, friends. I'm trying to help you out too, to give you some ideas on how to go about having a routine for yourself. Take a sip of my drink while we're talking. So what is your drawing routine? And if you don't have one, that's okay. That's what we're talking about. Give it a second there. Let's see if anybody's brave enough to type something down. Let's see. Okay. Cool. Let's keep going. So a lot of, let's see, everybody's texts are coming in now. Let's see. Lauren says, I'm practicing figure and perspective thumbnails now. I draw daily. Good, good. Figures and perspectives. That's cool. Yeah, I think it's so important to be drawing, you know, and the more time you put in, not that you're killing yourself and you draw all day, because you got to give yourself a break. But it's good to hear, Lauren, that you're drawing daily. The way I sort of look at is I start my week, I go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, oops. Boy, my pen is all around this, all over the place. Let's try this one more time. I think I'm clicking something wrong. Sunday, Monday. Oh, there's something wrong with this pen. Come on. Sunday, Monday. It's that first stroke. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, Saturday. So if I have my week, and if I have my week scheduled, and say I'm not working on Wednesday or Saturday, I might have a little bit more time to draw. But you know, let's just say on Sunday I draw for an hour there, 2 hours, 1 hour. So if I add that all up, I got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours per week. Put in pencil, or pencil mileage. I think that's really cool stuff. You know, I think that's a lot. You know, but I try to put that time in. And so how do I hold myself accountable to some of these things besides my sketchbook? So one of the things I do is I post. So how do I keep myself accountable? I post. I post on Instagram. And I post on YouTube. And I post on Threads. Where else do I post? I post on LinkedIn. And I also post YouTube, Facebook groups. And I'm not saying to be like a Gary V and you're have so many pieces of content you're putting out, but I try to post to hold myself accountable, whether it's good work, bad work, indifferent, but stuff I'm working on. If it's more of professional work, yeah, sure, I'll put that into my portfolio. But if it's just sketch work and stuff I'm working on, I will do that. So that's sort of my routine, how I keep myself accountable to my own drawings. Long says only on work. That's what he's doing. And then Yazalai says, I have a habit of sketching a few figures from Pinterest references at morning and then render them while I'm free in the afternoon or at night. Cool. There was this one artist, a story artist that I watch on Instagram, and it goes by Sachin, and Sachin goes, and right now I know created the boards, every shot from Terminator 2, I believe, and right now Sachin's working on Raiders of the Lost Ark. So it's great to see the work and he's just doing simple line drawings off of the films, but it's great to see what he's working on and how he's thinking and how he's learning from the direction of Steven Spielberg of how to draw and have that put into the work there. So there's a lot of learning in terms of how he's working on that and getting that done. So pretty cool stuff. But this is sort of my basic system in terms of how many days a week I'm drawing. I'm usually drawing every day. I try to cut out an hour to 2 hours depending on if I'm working or not that day. And how do I turn around? It equates to about 9 hours of just practice time, and then you ask, well, Paul, what do you work on? I tend to explore, when I'm drawing, I explore, you know. That's how I look at it, but I'm not really teaching myself. I'm just sort of exploring. I'm looking at different ways that people draw. I'm looking at how can I how can I make my work better. Maybe I might see something like I saw something today, and it was just based on tones, and if you're looking at certain tones. How do you work on those tones? How do we work on those different tones? And it might even just be tones of the, if I'm doing some sort of whatever I'm drawing and just working on that. So I'm always exploring all the time, you know. For me too, I love comics a lot, so I tend to explore different ways like that too. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, I'm just sort of exploring and just learning and just have fun sketching and doing that. So when I'm exploring, I'm just looking at all different types of things, whatever piques my interest. If I'm learning, there might be a piece of software that I'm trying to work on, or those type of things, to help myself to sketch. So back to Big Paul. So I think it is super important, friends, to work in those sketchbooks. You know, it helps to keep, like I said, all your imagery together. Like here's some Star Wars stuff I was drawing: Vader and Boba Fett and Gamorrean Guard and Jabba the Hutt. I think interesting stuff. Got some crazy stuff in here. Characters. I did a lot of animations. So it's always like let's check it out here. Let's see, just trying different things, different characters. I think that's where sketchbooking, it really helps. Different styles and flavors. Even Disney stuff to all sorts of things, you know. These are all just things that I'm practicing. And here's a picture of Samuel Jackson. What was that? Glass from the Unforgettable, or the Unbreakable, excuse me. Just different stuff, even like to fish and different characters. I think it's fun just to practice and to hone your skills. I think on this one I was just drawing dogs on that one. Let's see if there's anything else interesting. Got a lot of character development. These are super old, like quickie storyboards and stuff like that back in the day. You know, putting them all together. So I think it is so important to have a drawing routine, a drawing regimen. You know, to put your artwork together and have some fun with it. So I'm gonna leave it open. Is there any other questions? Any questions? I'll leave it out in the chat real quick. Sometimes I use reference. Yazalai was talking about using reference. Sometimes I'll use reference. You know, I'll take photos or something like that. I'll use reference. I think I've talked about it a few times. You know, I know fantastic character designer Steven Silver. Back in the day, he had a down in the Los Angeles area. He had a drawing workshop that he would host, and he would bring in a live model, and you would draw from the live model. Give you some realistic things. I think drawing from life works a little bit better for me than drawing off photographs and stuff like that, because the lens distorts things at times too. So you need to know about those distortions from lenses when you're drawing storyboards. But any chance I got in the past to draw live, I would draw live that way. That's where something like drawing in the cafe sketches or drawing at the zoo, working on animal forms, whether it be four-legged animals or flying animals or reptiles, helps you out quite a bit. And then once you have those fundamentals, you can make all sorts of dinosaurs and creatures and dragons and crazy stuff, you know, and have some fun with that too. So I hope this gives you some great ideas. Let me know in the chat. Is this kicking off the wheels on how to get yourself a drawing routine put together for yourselves and have some fun? You know, I was referring to it again. You know, like I said, you know. I just did this today. If you want to watch, I did a quick little live stream of these particular drawings here, and it's just a simple, you know, drawing, nothing fancy. You know, I'm just using Sharpies and that type of equipment. You know, with some colored work there. You know, I know I got it in black and white right now, but you know, as I'm sitting there drawing and sketching, you know, stuff that's sort of disposable. I just practice. I'm honing in those skill sets and keeping everything running well for myself. So cool. I thought that was a good point. Who made that point? Was that Maria? Maria was saying that she was drawing in software. Yeah, Maria, I would just like print out the JPEGs of that particular piece so you can flip through it and either print it out and put it in your sketchbook. I think I had some here where I've done it and I printed it out, but I just slid it in the back of my sketchbook as some of those drawings, or you can keep your own sketchbook based or a folder together of those sketches that you've done to help you out. So I'm going to leave it open for any questions. We'll do a little bit shorter version tonight. And I'll get ready for Saturday's jam session a little bit tonight and get ready for that. Yeah, as I just made a comment on here, I think I'm going to start using old travel pics I have. Yeah, no, definitely. Draw family, draw friends, you know, give it to your family and friends once you're done with your drawings, and have some fun, or some of them you can detail out and do as an illustration for yourself too. But I think it's so important to have that drawing routine. And I'm big on the pencil mileage. I'm big on the putting in the reps. I think it's the hand-eye coordination of what you're doing. I think it's the honing in on the basics and learning how to draw and practicing those things over and over and over. Because I on a job and I don't have time to learn how to draw this or that. I need to be able to draw it in a rough, so I understand what I'm drawing, and maybe I can go back and then use a little reference if I need to tune something up and I'm drawing a big rig truck that flips upside down and I need to know the under carriage of that particular vehicle, which I don't know off the top of my head. Okay, I got me on that, but it's like use some reference. But if I'm drawing some dynamic poses on, human forms, wherever it might be, at least I need to know how to draw those things. And I think by putting in that pencil mileage helps you get better and better to hone your craft. So I'll leave it open for a couple more minutes here. Any other questions? Drop them in the chat. Appreciate everybody dropping into the chat tonight in the live stream. I just wanted to go over this topic. I thought it was an interesting topic to talk about how to build a routine for yourself. I shared my routine, how my weekly drawing regimen works. I gave you a bunch of pointers today of how to, get your routine together and how to keep yourself motivated to keep drawing. If you're getting some great value out of this particular live stream, I'd appreciate you liking the video and dropping a quick comment. And then also too, if you're finding this channel useful to you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next live stream. I come to you 3 times a week on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And also check out those playlists. There's a lot of playlists there. I have 3 different major playlists for mastering the basics, sketching after hours, and storyboard jam sessions. Feel free to watch them all, and or if not, pick out the ones that will give you the most value and watch those and have some fun with it. And other than that, I think I'm going to have a good night, and I'm going to wish you a good night as well. It's been a long day for me. I've been up since early this morning, and I am going to call it a night. Let me check the chat one more time before I sign off here. So Lawrence just says, have a good night, everybody. Yes, you too. Yazalai says, Paul, speaking of references, have you ever got kind of confused when you use different references, which has different proportions or styles? That's a good question, Yazalai. I have not, because what I'll do is if I'm using reference like that, I'll draw it the way my style is. And I'll take elements and put it into my style, So if I have somebody who's doing a certain technique of how they draw their outline or how thick the outline is or something like that, I'll tend to grab that knowledge and put it into my own style, so it's original and not copy for copy's sake, because I think if you're copying to copy, it's a great way to learn, and I'm not going to knock that. Go learn and learn how that construction and the shape and the volume and how that image is working for you, and then go create it yourself. I'll give an example. I didn't take very many art classes in college, but there was one I took, and I believe the professor's name, Corbin Lapel, and Corbin I think he did the original Joker card from Batman. The original, he had a lithograph that he had painted and put together, and very fantastic painter, but he was my drawing instructor. And I remember that we had to go outside and get a branch and draw a branch. So I happened to grab an oak branch with leaves and everything on it, and I was in the studio class, and I working with my graphite pencils and my values and all that stuff to draw and I got really good at drawing this image, and the professor came over, Corbin came over to me and said, "Hey, listen, what if I told you I'd rip this up? Could you handle that? I know you put a lot of hours and work into it." And I said, "Yeah, go rip it up. I don't care." Because it was the mastering of your style, and did you learn what you did? So, and it's funny, whenever I'm drawing a natural storyboard with trees and sticks and all sorts of stuff, that story, bounces back in the back of my head, and that pops into my mind of because I still use the same techniques, doing that. So I hope that, Yazalai, that gives you a quick little story, and I hope that gives you a little bit, of how to use different references, have different proportions or styles. Put it in your visual language. If it doesn't look right, make it right. When it comes to proportions are proportions. If you're drawing realistic, you want to draw realistically. If you want to draw abstractly, then draw abstractly. But put it in your own style. Make it your own. In terms of what you're doing. So I hope that answers the question. But other than that, folks, have a fantastic night. Get that routine going for yourself, even if it's just 1x at 30 minutes a week. Drawing in your sketchbook. You have to start somewhere. Start with those, like I said, with that, taking those baby steps. Take those baby steps and produce over time, and then consistency will be king in terms of your execution of that artwork. But other than that, I'll leave you with my contact information if you want to keep in touch. And you folks have a great night, and I will see you on the next live stream.